just say something.
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Oh, okay, wonderful. All right. So I noticed that everybody's videos are turned off. So I don't know if I should just keep turning off mine as well, but I will just flash my face for a minute and then maybe turn it off when I'm about to share my screen. So I like it's an interactive class. I don't want to be that teacher, but it just makes more sense if I'm seeing people who I'm talking to and they are also seeing me in return. But I understand. Thank you so much for that warm welcome. I'm truly honored. Yesterday seemed like a very wonderful session and time out with everybody. And a lot of the things that I would want to say today has been said already. So I'm going to try my best to not repeat what has been said already, but to go in a different tangent. So I'm honored to be here, and to the people who took advantage of this opportunity to register and be a part of this, I think that we are on a definite path to success. Because in this day and age, it's increasingly difficult to get people to really pay attention to this things. And I really don't understand why. People don't like to pay to get knowledge. People don't like to get paid to get targeted information that will help you grow up, move to the next level. For some reason, maybe it's because of the nature of the economy right now. I can understand that part. But also, I also understand that, you give and then you get in return. So what you give is what you get. Sometimes it is very, very essential to just pay to access certain things. And as we get into more of the discussion and conversation tonight, I'm going to be pointing out a few things that will help us grow. So I want to welcome and congratulate everybody who is here so far, who has been here since yesterday. This 2-day powerful webinar on this whole concept of entrepreneurship and business. I think you guys are on a definite path to success. So I'm going to be talking to you guys on a very, very pertinent topic, and I'm going to get into it right now. And then okay. I see the comment section. I see the comment section. Okay, so thank you guys. So I'm going to just share my screen right now. I'm going to be discussing a very pertinent topic, which is accessing local and global funding opportunities. Okay, so let me share my screen right now and get into it. But before then, please just let me know that you're still hearing me or say something, to just give me feedback. I like to get that interaction going. So you just put something in the chat section and then we can kick it off from there. I'm actually going to hold you guys hostage if you don't give me feedback on the chat section. So if you guys don't say anything, I'm not going to present. So that's the way that I do my things. All right, so just give me feedback. And please, Chisom, please make me a co-host so I can share my screen. I think I cannot do that right now. So maybe just make me a co-host and I can share my screen. All right, wonderful. Thank you, Fanny Victor. Thank you for dropping that. It makes me feel encouraged. All right, so I'm waiting for you to make me a co-host so I can share my screen, okay? So like I mentioned earlier, I will be talking about assessing local and global opportunities. And okay, I'm able to share my screen now. Let me know if you can see my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen, sir.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So
we can see
local and global. Yes, that's wonderful. Thank you very much. So accessing global and local funding opportunities. Please mute your mic if you're not speaking. Please mute your mic. Yes. So it is important to note that local and global in this context actually mean national and international. Okay. There is this disparity between sometimes we want to localize our own solutions and call it local, and it's what we are producing here is not local. It's not international. It's not exportable. It's not something that we can export to the other countries. It's not something that we can market to foreigners. So we kind of, it's a limited term in a sense. And I just want to just put context around it. Like local here just means national, And then global just means it's international. That is sometimes not within our immediate environment, but within Nigeria, outside Nigeria. All right. So, but before we get into that, I want to basically just talk about who I am. So my name is obviously Emmanuel Chisom. Chidozie has done very wonderfully in introducing me and saying what sort of encapsulates everything that I do. And I am the co-founder of Green Creation Energy Limited. This is a clean and renewable energy solutions company, and also Care Right Services, which is a health tech solution, Oriri Foods, which is a food tech solution, Castle Technologies, which is an education and payments technology. And this may seem like a handful, but I mean, these are early stage startups that I'm trying to build, and my core sort of makeup is just to solve problems and just to provide solutions that target pertinent problems and issues in society. And but what exactly is my story, and why should you listen to me? Why should you pay attention to what I have to say? So my objective here is to simply share the tips that I've learned in my journey as an entrepreneur and founder. I don't claim to be an expert. I don't claim to be a guru. I'm in constant search for knowledge and information. So I'm still trying to build my company as well. But in just a very few moments, of very few time frame of raising money, of being in startup development, and just being in this business of entrepreneurship and tech entrepreneurship, I have gathered like a handful of information or a handful of knowledge that I think I can share with you that will help you, just also up your game as well. So, yeah, like I said earlier before this presentation officially started, like a lot of things I would have loved to say have been said already. So I'm going to just give you like some other sort of tangents to what exactly, or perspective to what exactly we're trying to talk about here, right? So I'm going to go back in time to when I started when I just knew with clarity and just this very authentic vision in my head that this is what I wanted to do with my life for the rest of my life. This is what I wanted to do. So I'm going to go back in time, and it was in 2000, and I think when I was in my third year in the university, that's when like I had this grand revelation of what I wanted to do with my life. So I knew without a doubt that I wanted to build a business that leveraged technology. Even to this day, you're still going to find, if you come to my room, you're still going to find an inscription that says build tech businesses. This is like the three words that define what I want to do with my life: build tech businesses. That's what I always wanted to do. So in the early stages, there was a lot of failure that it made me question whether or not I was, I really wanted to do what I had set out to do. Sometimes, like, I felt like, oh, even though I'm so clear about these things, I still had those moments that, I just had to doubt myself. Is this really what I wanted to do? Or is this like, if it's what I'm meant to do with my life, why am I failing so much? Why am I like staggering? Why am I trying to find my footing? And sort of, I understood after a while that like it's not going to be like the bed of roses, especially in the kind of business that we're into, which is entrepreneurship. It's not going to be an easy ride. It's not going to be a very smooth sail. We're expected to face challenges. And actually, the skill of resilience and hard work and being able to have that tough skin and thriving in spite of challenges is one of the requisites of an entrepreneur. So I learned to just enjoy the challenges and enjoy and sail upon it and grow with it and just ride it like a wave and get to the point where I am. So, I just had to stick to the road less traveled and take it one step at a time. So I started multiple tech businesses like that failed. At one point, I ran a photography business with a team of 4 people, which was fairly successful until I had to close it down to focus on my role as the student body president of the Nigerian Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. But the big break happened when I co-founded Creation Energy, the company that you can see on the screen right now. So, and the idea was just predicated on developing a proprietary technology that would, just solve people's problem with access to power and electricity. Because I just found, myself and my co-founders, we found this big gap in the industry that like Nigeria like generates just about 4,000 megawatts of electricity, which is painfully insufficient for the population that we have. So we found that this is a very big gap. And data just showed us that, like, in some places in Nigeria, you do not even have access to power. You don't have access to electricity. So we had to find a way to, solve that problem or bridge that gap. So, and we wanted to do something entirely different, do something that is proprietary, like something that nobody has ever done before, and we just started to experiment on the idea that, like, cassava waste water can actually serve as an electrolyte to just be this fuel that could power like our energy kits, our custom-made energy kits. So we started playing around with this idea, and we built the first prototype in 2019, December 12, 2019. And by 2020, we were invited to Lagos, and the rest, they say, is history. So the few money we were able to raise within that time, we won $5,000 from Alpha Lab Gear Hardware Corp. In 2020, it was a global thing that we started, like the regional finals in Lagos. We just done this application, and then the regionals was in Lagos, and when we finished that, we were selected to travel to Pittsburgh, the United States. And then that didn't happen, obviously, because of COVID. But we were able to eventually win $5,000. We didn't win the grand prize, but we won $5,000. And that was just like a catalyst for us to even start what we're doing. We went ahead the same year to win like $3,000 from the Enugu SME Center. That was the Enugu SME Hackathon. And then from that particular hackathon, we just met our investors. A very notable figure here in this Enugu. I know, I'm not sure whether like most of us are from Enugu here, but the person that we won that actually financed our company at this time was an equity fund. He took a percentage of the company, and then he gave us money for that transaction. So, and he's a notable figure here. I'm not going to mention his name just to protect some things. So, but he gave us $12,000 in equity. We're talking about raw cash. It is important to note, however, that it's not in today's money. That $12,000 in today's money is about over 12 million naira, 30 million naira. But at that time, $10,000 was around just a little bit above or something shy of 5 million naira. Okay. So, and then in 2021, when I went on to win the Smith Talent Cup, it was like a $2,000 prize. So, and there are other ones I did not even mention here, because I thought that if you put something like $700, it's not going to, match the reputation of the other funds here. So, last year, December the 1st, I think, we won 1 million naira from the Shaping the Futures Change Makers Award. That was the recent funding that we got. So that was a grant anyway. So I have a combined experience in like raising equity funding and also raising grants here and there and all that. So until date, my company, Creation Energy, continues to democratize access to clean energy technologies and all that. And we're going to, just begin to build other solutions as well. And, I'm not going to just dwell so much on, what we've been able to do. But this is why, like, you should pay attention to me. Like I said, I don't claim to be an expert, but at least I've gathered some information, some knowledge. I've failed, even with all this money and with everything. I've been able to, gather a few information and a few tips and a few nuggets that I think I could share with you right now as we proceed into like the conversation. So this is my story, and I hope that, you give me like a very rapt attention, and so that we have this conversation and then get to answer some of your questions and all that. So let's go into the rest of the conversation. So I want to talk about fully funded opportunities, because like when we talk about accessing global and local opportunities, we don't really remember this aspect. But fully funded opportunities are really, 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 really important and crucial to your journey as a founder or as a change maker. So I just want to assume that I'm talking to like founders and change makers here, because like this is just what I'm wanting to tailor the presentation to. I want to tailor it to people who are founders, people who are change makers, people who are change agents in society, and to really become, just really optimize and maximize these opportunities, like local and global opportunities we're talking about. You have to position yourself as that, either the founder of a for-profit organization or a non-profit organization, or somebody that's contributing very valuably to nation building, or somebody that's just doing a lot of things that is just considered like so much valuable, right? So, and that is the only way that you can access this. If you're in an organization, you're working for an organization, or you're part of like a group, you have to be doing like some valuable work. You have to be like one of the C-suite leaders there. By C-suite, I mean like executives in that organization contributing very valuably. That's how like you can begin to like be exposed to these things. That's just the cold truth. Okay, so back to fully funded opportunities. Okay, I wanted to touch on this because like we tend to forget about like these sort of opportunities when we talk about accessing global funding, because we always focus on the money aspect of it. We really focus on money. But fully funded opportunities may not really provide you with money up front, but it's going to help. It's a catalyst, and it's also like a conversation starter. And it's it's a community. It's a way like to build like valuable community. You know how people tell you that your network is your net worth, right? This is where you get to meet people who are like-minded. This is where you get to meet people who have the same vision as you, people who want to also make change in their communities as well, people who are thinking the same thing that you're thinking, and you guys can gather in a community and build something together, network together. You guys can learn from each other and just keep it going from there. Okay, so my first fully funded opportunity was the one that I attended last year, which was the trip that I went when Jay was reading my bio. He said something about the yearly Emerging Leaders Conference program that was held in Ghana. And this is just like one of the, I would say the medium, there's, this sort of opportunities, is the hierarchy to it, right? Then you have the small ones, and then you have the medium, and then you have the high-rated ones, right? The high-rated ones are it's like the Mandela Washington Fellowship, like where if you're selected for that one, you have blown, like take it from me. Because like you the kind of people that you meet there is on another level. But the sister or junior sister to the Mandela Washington Fellowship is the yearly Emerging Leaders Program. Please, if you can hear me, just say something right now. I think I have talked for so long and I've not heard anything from anybody. So just let me know that you can.
I can hear you. I can hear you so clearly.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so yeah, the yearly Emerging Leaders Program was a very fantastic opportunity for me. So imagine, let me paint a picture for you. Imagine that you went to you are in Nigeria here in Enugu, for like me, right? And then you get flown out of Nigeria, and then you land in Ghana, and then first of all you're hit by the new cultural awareness around you. There's this consciousness that you have that is not familiar, right? And then you see that, oh, this is how Nigerians are different from Ghanaians. This is how, even though we're similar in some respect, but we are also very different, right? And then you get to that place, they convey you from the airport to the hotel where you're going to be staying, and they're feeding you these nice, fantastic meals. But that's not even the catch. The catch is that you get to meet over 100 persons who are either change makers, people in civic leadership, or people in the business and entrepreneurship sector like myself, or people in the public and policy management, and then you guys are over 100, and we are from 9 different countries because it's a West African thing, right? So you have the West Africa, I think East Africa, and then South Africa. That's how yearly is structured in Africa, right? So, and you guys are having conversations about varying topics and all of that. So imagine that. So, and then after a while, you guys get split up into like those different factions or fractions that I've mentioned right now. And all of you are seated in the same, environment, and you're brainstorming. You have experts coming in to teach you a bunch of things, and you guys are just having these very insightful conversations and how you can take back some of these lessons to your own business and start to implement the solutions and do well and do better. And you can also keep in touch with the foundation, with the organization, and tell them how you're making progress, and they can keep in touch with you, and they can also go ahead to provide funding for you and all of that. So when I was told the budget for one person, I was blown away. And I think it was a $5,000 budget. And I did not even I don't question that, because it covered the flights, the flights of everybody per person, right? And then you cover the feeding because we spent 3 weeks there, 3 weeks. And then we were fed morning, afternoon, night. And in between that, you had just little, snacking time and all that. And I'm talking about very fantastic meals. So, and it's a good feeling to have, right? You go there and then you can meet people. And in the hotel that we stayed, we had some people that came from the States, and, people were introducing themselves, networking and all that. So There was a whole thing. So let's not neglect fully funded opportunities when it comes to things like this. I'm sure that yesterday, a lot of information has been shared about, how to really go ahead to get this opportunities, because a lot of platforms right now are beginning to, share these opportunities, let you know when it's on right now. Like the yearly Emerging Leaders Program, I would recommend that you guys register. I think it's ending tomorrow by 11:59. I'm going to share the link with Chidozie here. So you guys should just register. This can be a very fantastic opportunity for somebody here. So just go ahead and just register and see what happens. Okay. So let's not forget that conversation. I think it's a very important one. When you're there, you can talk with somebody that can lead to something, and you guys can raise money together, or you guys can, meet somebody who knows somebody, and it's just a whole lot of things that can happen. So let's not keep that in the box, okay? But yeah, it's part of the conversation when we talk about like assessing global and local funding opportunities. Okay, so so to attract grants and business funding, I think that was a little bit of a digression, but like I just wanted to include in the conversation, not exclude it. So to attract grants and business funding, you need to become. There is something that you need to be to attract local and international funding opportunities. There are things that you need to do, or a persona that you need to embody to really like get to this point. So, and I've mentioned like a fraction of it, like in my earlier speech. So, and I said it's the fact that you have to be a business owner, or somebody in the non-profit space, or somebody who's a change agent, somebody who's a leader, all of these things. That's the first thing that you need to do. And I'm just going to break that down into saying that you need to create a channel to access it. Right. So if you're looking to get money right now, at least the least you can do, or the basic thing that is required of you, is to have a bank account. Right. So if I wanted to send money to Chidozie right now, I would first of all ask him for his account number, and he's going to provide me with that account number. I'm going to send money to his account number, and that's the way that he can receive it. So you need to ask yourself, why should somebody give me $5,000? Why should somebody give me $10,000? Right? So my investor, if you go back to what the story I told you guys earlier, that gave me $12,000 like earlier, if I had approached him and said, boss, I know that you're rich, I know that you have this money, please give me this, give me $10,000, please. And yes, I just need it. I know life is hard for me. They are not going to give you that money. The best they can do is, okay, look at this 500 naira, go and buy sachet water, or buy Coke for yourself and bread, right? And they will leave you there, right? Nobody's going to give you hard currency because you look poor or you look like you need it. Nobody's going to give you that amount of money. You need to create a channel to receive that money. Okay, you need to do that by being a problem solver. Okay, you need to do that by solving a problem that is critical to society, or critical to how people move around, how people interact in society, and how it is going to make their lives easier. When Chidozie was reading my Bible, he said that I have a penchant for solving problems that will just make the quality of lives of people like become easier. That's what we do with care rights services, right? That's what we do with Christian energy as well, because we're trying to solve a problem that is so pertinent in society. So you need to become a problem solver, and in that respect, you're creating like a channel to receive that fund. So when you present yourself like a problem solver, present yourself like a business owner, the person says, okay, this is what this is what you're doing, this is how you're growing, and okay, with this metrics, I think I can put in money here, I see so much value here, and we can make money together, and at the same time we're impacting the society, we're doing something to advance civilization, something like that. So you need to be a problem solver, you need to be a leader, right? Because it doesn't just end in the fact that you have like a business or a non-profit or an organization of some sort. You have to be a leader. You have to be a leader. And I mean, leadership is a whole different thing. And that's where like Chidozie specializes, like in leadership development and all that. So, but leadership is a whole new thing altogether, because like I will tell you that investors do not invest in ideas, they invest in people, right? Sometimes you present yourself, you have a very fantastic solution. However, the investor is not so sold on your personality, on your persona, on the person that you are. So they're not going to give you that money. They're counting on the founder to actually like bring this solution to fruition, this idea to fruition, to really develop this idea to become something that's a money-making business, right? So you need to be a leader. You need to learn to rally your team together. You need to learn to have that resilience and tough skin. I talked about it earlier. Sometimes you get into business and you think, oh, it's all about the flashy this thing. So you call yourself a founder, the CEO of this, all of those titles I used to move some of us like when we were starting. And now that we've seen the real thing, we're no longer interested in like I'm the CEO of this. So if you're the CEO of something, you're sure of financials, show us what you've been able to do. Let's see that you're actually in business, and all that. So that's what I'm trying to allude to the quality of being a leader, the quality of having that resilience, the quality of influencing people positively, the quality of just making sure that your team is delivering like on their KPIs and making sure that they are doing well, irrespective of whatever is happening, in spite of the challenges happening around and all that. So you also have to be able to communicate, and this is a very, very, very important thing. We're going to talk about pitching and all that later in this presentation, but you need to learn how to be a master communicator. And I don't claim to be an expert at this. I've learned and continuing to learn how to communicate, how to be able to tell my story and sell my vision. I have a pitch tomorrow. Like as we speak, after this presentation, I'm going to go and prepare for my presentation tomorrow. So I'm always pitching. So I have a pitch tomorrow. And what I want to do is just to paint the situation of the country right now, right, to my investors, and tell them that, okay, look at the heat wave that we just recently have, and we're still currently having right now. Look at the way that the power situation in the country has become like really, really bad in recent times. And it seems the Minister of Power doesn't have like an immediate solution. And it seems like the cost of solar is going astronomical. So what do we do? Like, it seems like people are stuck between, the rock and the deep blue sea or a hard place. So it's like there is no escape plan, but we have an escape plan. We have a solution to this, and that's where our business comes in. So what I'm saying is like, you need to be able to sell a vision to your investors, sell a vision to your team members, sell a vision to your customers. This is where we're going. This is how we're going to get there and all that. So you need to be a master communicator, and it's an ongoing process. You don't just become a master communicator and that is it. You have to continue to develop your skills, continue to update your skill set and your toolbox, and just keep on going and going and going until you get to that point when you know that, yes, I can actually communicate my ideas with clarity, with being concise while at it, and being very concrete in my words, my choice of words and all that. So, and the next thing is that you need to be a reader and just have that ability to be able to sustain conversation that are multiple layers deep, when you go to we talked about funding opportunities earlier, when you're in that kind of forum, there's a kind of conversation that happens and you just find yourself floating because you don't have that much information in your brain. You don't have that much information, it's not actually, you don't have that wealth of knowledge. So, but there are conversations that you begin to get into, and then you have multiple layers in that conversation, and people can tell themselves that this person is a knowledgeable person. We're not doing that to impress anybody. We're just doing that to actually become the true version of yourself or the best version of yourself. You're doing that because that is very crucial to your relationships and sustaining your relationships in the business world. Please turn off your mic if you're not speaking. I think Aja Benjamin. All right. So yes, it's very crucial. Like I said earlier, people don't invest in business, in ideas, they invest in people. So let's say, for instance, you're meeting an investor and then somehow the conversation just spirals down into, let's say, a book that you are currently reading, The Story of Success by Michael Gladwell. So, and maybe I make a reference to that particular book, right? And then my investor is kind of impressed because he has read the book before and we need to talk about the book and some other thing, even though like he has not even heard your idea yet. He thinks that he can work with you. So he thinks that you're a very interesting person. This person even takes the time to read and all that. So let me just see what we can do with this person. And that's how, this whole thing starts, right? So you have to be a reader to have information. You have to be a reader to be able to sustain conversations. You have to be a reader to just be able to improve your quality as a person with service delivery, as an individual, as a founder, and all of that. So the next is that you have to have a style and a presence. I'm not going to dwell much on that. That has to do with like your packaging, your branding, all of that. People choose to dress a certain kind of way. Dr. Laim Sokore will always be on a blue suit. Anytime you see him in a red tie, red socks, that's his packaging, that's his branding. He has a style. When he comes in, this is Dr. Laim Sokore. So you also need to know how to network, how to maintain quality relationships. Okay, so when you come into a space like this, there is a tendency to just go mute. I don't like to disturb people. I don't like to, be in people's faces and all that. That's your thing. But if you're going to be a business owner, you're going to be a founder, you're going to be like in the change, space. You're a change maker. You are just this person who wants to make an impact and access these opportunities we're talking about. You have to be very good with networking. Find a way to do that, just say something to somebody, just do that. And when you get into a relationship with that person, make sure to always maintain relationships. I have people that they just, because we're friends, right? There is something that they're offering to me and I'm also offering them something in return. So like some of them send me opportunities, like they know that I'm always like a junkie for opportunities. So all the time they feel like, oh, this opportunities, let me send it to Chisom, let me send it to Emmanuel, let me see what maybe he can, apply and then win or something. So that's the way that we maintain conversation. We don't need to be talking all the time, but when something they see, they think is valuable comes around, they want to send it to me. When I think something is valuable to them as well, I want to send it to them as well, so that they can take advantage of that information, that opportunity. So that's a way to maintain conversation, relationships, and all that. So we can go deep into this and discuss it, but just as a general rule of thumb, this is a very crucial thing that you need to be able to, attract this funding and all of that. So yeah. So, but the last and the most important point I want to mention is that you have to be a hard worker and an overall disciplined individual. So we need to learn what discipline is about, right? To attract these grants and business funding, because what happens is that success breeds more success, right? So even the Bible said it to he who has little, that which he has will be taken away from him. But the person who even has more shall be given more, right? So you know that when you raise funding, you're able to do something with that funding, you've made an impact. You can request and say, I was able to do this much with X, Y, and Z funding. So if you give me this much more funding, I'm going to be able to do much more impact with what you're giving me right now. So, if you are disciplined, you're a hard worker, you're able to follow through with, your vision, your words, your commitments, that in turn would guarantee that you're going to be able to be successful as a business owner. You're going to continue to actually raise this money and become successful and go on to just do bigger things in life. So I will always say that ideas are worthless, execution is key, right? Ideas don't make any sense, execution is what matters. Anybody can have an idea, anybody can dream up something, but it is the person who takes the initiative and begins to work and execute. That's the person that actually is doing something, okay? So you need to, execution has a key link to discipline, has a key link to hard work, has a key link to that quotient to be resilient, right? That quotient to be resilient, to be determined in the face of challenges, okay? That grit mentality. So your ideas really don't mean anything until you begin to take a step towards it. And it's when you begin to take steps towards, that's when you leave your bubble, your imaginative bubble, and begin to face real-time problems that will pose serious challenges to you and make you question a few things, or even pivot, or even reevaluate, or even re-strategize, right? So it's when you get into the market that you begin to see that there are unique and peculiar challenges that you have to address. So, but if you're in your imaginative bubble, you're coming up with ideas, and you feel like until you get into the market and begin to do something, that is where people begin to even value your stuff. That's why people rarely invest in sometimes venture capitalists, we're going to talk about that. They will look at what you've done so far, what your traction is, and that's where they can even begin the conversation, because your ideas, people can pick it up and work on it. You may not be able to, see it through, and that just demarcates you from the very initial start. So let us just note this thing is directly linked to the act or art of discipline, and it's a complex word in itself, and we have to go deep into trying to learn how to be a more disciplined person. Don't break promises to yourself. If you say you're going to do this, do it. if you make commitments already, follow through with it, right? Because it's going to have a ripple effect in how you carry yourself, how you live your life, how you run your business, how you run your organization, if you're a nonprofit, how you do things as an individual. And people are easily going to just, sniff it out if you are not that person, if you're not that guy, if you're not that woman who, is able to see things, people are just going to sniff it out. So let's move on to the next thing, which is the concept of grants. The concept of grants. So I think yesterday it has been extensively discussed what grants are. People essentially just give you money so that you can bring to bear this idea or this initiative that is effectively going to transform people's lives, right? Or make an impact in society. That's exactly what grants are supposed to do for you. So I think before now, it was really very difficult to access money to be able to build something from the ground up, to just do something, right? But now I think it's becoming increasingly easier, even though there's a few hiccups, we can debate that, but there is this large contingent of organizations that is willing to give you money to just start to grow your organization, to grow your impact initiative and all that. It just only depends on your ability to be able to sell your idea to them, or sell your impact to them, or sell your vision to them, and then get this money from them. Because we're a very populous country, we're very populated, we have the largest number of youth density. So, and if you put something out there, trust me, a lot of people are going to be jumping in that opportunity and competing for it. So if you're not very good, you may not really get this grant, because when we compare the ratio of people who are requesting the grant to people who are really getting the grant, people who are really offering the grant, it's an overwhelming number against people who are really giving out those grants. So if we have 100 organizations or 1,000 organizations given this, we have millions of people who are competing for that 1,000 spots, right? So this is what grants is all about, to just help you start something, to build your prototype, to build a proof of concept, to you can't really depend on grants to grow at a scaling level, to scale your business, right? On the growth stage, because I'm sure that yesterday you guys talked about the different funding rounds. We talked about your pre-seed, your seed funding, your Series A, your Series B, your Series C, Series D. There's also some nuanced, context to the different series of funding and all of that. So, but yeah, you may not necessarily, you cannot grow your business with grants, with just grants. Okay, the grants is just there for you to start something. If you need to build your website, if you need to, and that can also when you're bootstrapping, using your money, the friends and family money as well, and all of that, you can also join grants to just get yourself to a level where you have some user base, and then maybe you just already purchasing your product and all that. But for the growth level, you need to actually talk to angel investors or venture capitalists. And that brings me to the opportunities that are available for male and female founders, especially female founders. I don't know how many females we have on this call. Please, if you're a female on this call, just let me know. If you're a female on this call, just let me know. I don't know how many females we have. I think it's mostly male on this call. So if you're a female, just let me know. Just say something in the comments so that I'm sure that at least there's at least one female. I think I heard somebody say something earlier. If you're female on this call, let me know. Let me know. But if we don't, that means I have to proceed. But Chidozie, I think we need to do something for the female founders, because right now, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but there is a lot of opportunities targeted to female founders, right? Some of the opportunities that are even accessible for men, they will tell you, do you have a female founder in your team? Right? Because I think people are increasingly wanting to just check that quota of diversity, inclusion, and equity, right? So they want to give more opportunities to females right now, and they want to include women in these processes, and just to make sure that they are given the percentage. What we're talking about, the pitch I have tomorrow, it's going to be top 10 finalists at the end of the day who are going to proceed to Lagos, and we're about 40 on the group, okay? 31 that has been shortlisted to pitch. And I'm sure that out of the top 10, they've already reserved a quota for at least 4 women to be able to proceed with finance. It doesn't matter how good the guys were or how good the girls were, there's already a quota for each person. And I don't want anyone to misunderstand me in this. I'm just saying that like people are beginning to say that since women have been marginalized a lot of the times, like in this sort of things, let us now become to be consciously inclusive of women in these processes. So they give a quota for women to be included, right? And sometimes, like, they want to just make sure that the women are part of the conversation, even if you are qualified for this. So that's when you have like opportunities that are exclusively for women. You never find opportunities that are exclusively for men. You never find, men in tech opportunities right now. You will never find it. But you will find women in tech opportunities or, women founder opportunities or something like that. So I think our women should begin to open their eyes to these opportunities and take advantage, because the world is at a place where like they're looking to just empower women by all means. And if you're remotely good, you're going to go really far as a woman. Okay. So my message is to just like alert, just to wake up this consciousness in you, especially since we don't have female founders. I mean, that's fine, we can move on, but let us begin to also tell our female friends, female founders who are, in the entrepreneurial space, right? Entrepreneurship space, for them to really like take advantage of these opportunities that are available to them at their fingertips. So yeah, we're going to proceed and talk about venture capital and angel investment. So I'm just going to give you like a clear distinction of what these things are. So what is venture capital? Venture capitalist firms are actually firms that invest other people's money. And these are the guys that have like, a lot of money in management and a pool of capital in management. So you have Mr. A, who runs a venture capitalist firm and has a group of people who has given him money to manage for them. So he is one who goes out to look out for opportunities or for startups that are, skill worthy, people who he knows can scale very fast, very quickly, who has technology that would be able to take this company from 0 to 100 in very few years, like even less than 1 year or 2 years or something, right? And they invest a lot of money into that startup and bank on it to really, go to IPO stage or get acquired. That's the two things that people really like, in the business world really go for. It's either you get acquired, you exit, or you IPO. And IPO just means initial public offering. We can talk about that later. But angel investments are usually individuals who have money. Let's say a millionaire who just has money, and then he just saw you, he met you, you're talking to him, and he's like, okay, I think this idea is a very wonderful idea that you have, and I'm going to give you my money so that you can actually scale your business or grow your business, or get to the point where like you need your venture capitalist to come in and then begin to give you money for the growth stage. Okay, so that's just a major distinction of venture capital and angel investment. So I think we've defined the terms, right? And I have a YouTube link that would actually like explain this to you in further detail, so you can understand it and different stages of the business and all that. So, but I think I will share that with Chisom after this, so that you can go back and watch it. Maybe if you search the venture capital and angel investments, like the difference between the two on YouTube or on Google, I think you're going to find information. So let me just rehash like what I have said before. So the differentiating factor is that like while venture capitalists manage large pool of funding, they're looking for like very large scale companies that has potential to scale really fast. The angel investment may be given to small businesses, local businesses, and all that. And these are people that are individuals, people who, like my investor is an angel investor, right? So he just saw us and said, oh, I like what you guys are doing. I like the idea. I like where we're doing this at. I like what you're thinking. I like people who think from first principle, people who like try to build solutions that are just not out there. Like they are thinking about something really deep and very hard to build. Let us give you money to do that. So he's an angel investor and just gave us like $10,000 to just go and scale our solution and all that. So, but at the stage where you start to grow and then you build and build and build, you need these guys, a venture capitalist now, to be able to give you. Sometimes we see on Crunchbase or TechCrunch rather, and then Tech Cabal, some of these tech blogs that X and X company raised $1.5 million. Those things are, equity funding. Those things are from venture capitalist firms that give them money to actually go and scale and their business and all that. So, and these are the big guys, and these are the big boys who actually give money for you to be able to grow. So yeah, so let's talk about pitching, or like I like to say, storytelling. What is and how do you pitch your business? Okay, so pitching is basically just storytelling. That's the way that I like to define it, right? So we can talk about different things, your presentation slides, your pitch deck, we can talk about that, but it's your ability to really communicate what you have on your pitch deck that really matters. There's something we call an elevator pitch, and that elevator pitch is just that it's predicated on the concept that you meet an investor on an elevator, and you have just a few minutes before the elevator opens and he gets out of the elevator to just sell yourself and tell him exactly why you should get a second meeting, and you guys should probably sit down and have like a due diligence session, something like that. So pitching is storytelling. You start from your problem statement. Why are you really getting the solution? Like I gave you an example earlier, and I'm saying, I told you guys that I'm going to, in my pitching tomorrow, this thing tomorrow, I'm going to tell them that, look at the past situation of the country, look at how much we're generating, look at, where we are right now as a civilization, and, we are even called generator economy. Can you imagine that? Like during the AFCON, we're called the generator economy. And it's an insult. We laugh about it, but this is an insult, okay? I think that Nigeria has to come to the point where we don't have a power problem. I went to Ghana, and Ghana has uninterrupted power supply. If Ghana can do it, why can't we do it? Okay, so we have a power problem, obviously. And then it's your ability to take them through this, painting of pictures in their minds and all that. That's what really pitching is about. To be able to define that problem that it touches their spirit, and they see a need for a problem or a solution to be developed in that sector or in that regard. And then you go ahead to tell them the reason why you're the person to build that solution. Okay, you introduce your team members, you tell them your expertise, you tell them exactly what you guys have been able to do and what you guys hope to do and all that. You tell them your business model, because at the end there's a business and they're looking to make money. So you tell them the business model, you tell them the market size, you tell them who your competitors are and how you're prepared to outcompete these competitors. You tell them all of these things. These are things that you have in your pitch deck, the financials and all that, your financial projection, what you're looking at making in the first how many years, 3 years of being in business, and how your expenses and your revenues are going to come together and you're going to actually become profitable at, let's say, the 4th year or the 2nd year or the 3rd year, all of those things. But it is really your ability. It is incumbent on your ability to be able to tell the story, to be able to paint a picture in the minds of the investors, and then sell them a vision. That is really what pitching is about. Okay, so to be able to be successful in accessing funding, if you're pitching to an investor, you have to really be able to demonstrate your impact quotient. So, like I said earlier, you are really in business to solve a problem. You are giving a non-profit because you want to make an impact in society, right? You have seen a societal problem that needs a solution, right? Yeah, so you're building a solution that needs to solve a particular problem in society, right? So you're going to be assessed by how much impact you're making. Okay, is this something that needs to happen very quickly in society? Is this something that needs to be done very urgently? Is this something that needs somebody to be working on it, right? If I'm in a country like Nigeria and I'm building something that I can't think about a trivial solution right now, but there are trivial solutions. There are solutions that really doesn't really make sense. If you're competing with somebody who is in the power sector, they're going to really outcompete you because you really need solutions initiatives in the power industry to be able to combat our needs right now, to be able to stay productive, to be able to compete in the global market and all that. So, your impact quotient is something that, they are going to access if you're really trying to access funding, right? And then you also talk about scalability. How scalable is your idea? This is something that can only work in Enugu. This is something that can only work in Nigeria. Something that can work across the world, right? So if you're talking about, let's say, something like a Paystack right now, and Paystack is this solution, financial solution, tech solution that can work in Nigeria, can work in other African countries as well. This is scalable solution, something that can just go from 0 to 1 million users in like a couple of months, right? I remember like seeing the milestones of Paystack, and they were able to demonstrate how much they were able to raise. And one particular year, I saw them processing like billions of naira or was it billions of dollars in transactions in a single month. And I'm like, wow, this is what scalability is all about, right? That you can process this amount of transaction in a single month. So they're looking at scalability. How scalable is your solution? If you're building something that is just restricted to people in Enugu, they don't really like find it so juicy or attractive to put their money into, especially venture capitalists. They will not be so interested to give you money. Okay. So you talk about traction as well. Traction is something that I always tell people. What is traction? What is your milestones? What are your milestones? What have you been able to achieve to date? Okay, so if you've not achieved anything, it's going to be counterintuitive to actually take your idea to some investors. So you're telling them that I have this idea, but you've not done a market survey, you've not, asked people, you've not done like something to just validate that this thing like is going to work. You've not done anything in regards to that. So it's something that I advise people to do. Let's say you've created a landing page, and then you have a wait list where people who are interested and can pay for your products are in, and they're just waiting for a product to launch so that they can, begin to patronize you. Something like that can work. So you have a prototype, you built out a solution, something that, like in my case, when we started, we had built out a prototype that works. And then we took it to the investor to say, this is what we've been able to do without own money, and this is what we've been able to achieve so far. So they found it attractive that, it's not just an idea in your head, the concept of this and this and this. You're thinking about an electric car. You're not telling them that, I have this concept of an electric car in my head. You're actually showing them a prototype of an electric car that is actually working. And you're requesting that, like, if they give you more money, you can build a model that actually, works in real time. Okay, so traction is very important. The market size, how big is the market? How big is the market? How if you're talking about the power sector, I keep going back to this because that's my sector. You're talking about according to World Bank, you have that over 60 million Nigerians don't have access to power supply. Okay, we can disintegrate that into 22 million households that don't have access to power supply. I can tell you that $14 billion is spent annually on fuel. Okay, so this is like how much people are spending in the market. This is how much that we can potentially make. This is how much we can talk about total addressable markets, the serviceable addressable markets, and all of these things. So how big is your market is something that can just entice investors that they want to give you money to just go ahead and build. If they don't find that the market size is big enough, it's not really worth their time because they're counting on the upside, they're counting on the growth potential, the growth quotient of your business, so that when you actually go to become a big business, they can cash out on their investments. Okay, so you have to have a very big market size. You're solving a problem that actually has a substantial market size. So D and P, let's talk about D and P. Okay, decks and personality. Right, so we talked about the pitch deck. So I'll give you, if you want to write right now, you can write. So I'll give you like the different slides in the pitch deck. So first of all, you have your intro slide. Number 2, you have your problem statement slide. You have your solution slide. You have your market size slide. You have your business model slide. You have your competition slide. You have your traction slide. You have your financials slide. You have your team slide. And you have your thank you page, basically. So this can just make up, like, a typical deck would just be about 10 pages or so, right? So this just make up your 10 pages, like in your slide and all that. So you can have all those things that will detail exactly the checklists of your project and your company or your organization and all of that. And I find that I'm really focusing on the company side. I'm not really talking more on the non-profit side, but in the non-profit side, you can talk about like the problem statement, the solution that you're providing, the sustainability plan that you have, the feasibility study that you've done, and all of these things, right? And then show a way, like, put a slide of the impact that you've done for, like, that you've made, that you've had on the community, or the projects that you've done in the past and all that. That's to cover for traction as well, what you've been able to do to date and all that. So I think that would work. I'm not so experienced on the non-profit side, but yeah, for the business people, this is what your deck should contain. But beyond your decks, people should find you interesting. I've said this before, but like, I want to rehash it again. People should find you interesting. People who are talking to you, they should look at you and see that, okay, this person has a passion for what he's talking about. He's so passionate about it. He has a character and he has a charisma for it. He's a likable person, right? I like him, okay? So that personality should be there. Sometimes, like, during my early times, like doing presentations, I found myself like really fidgeting. Sometimes there was this one time I went to like a presentation in Lagos. Oh my God, it was if I flew to Lagos and they picked me up from the airport and they took me to VI. That was Radisson Blue Hotel, and it was a grand reception. So they were taking me around the car, like the cameras in front of me. We were trying to capture. It was like a reality show thing because they wanted to capture all of the moments and all that. So, and then they were opening the doors for me and I was coming out. So it was a lot of pressure. So I went upstairs, took my bath, came down to have like a press conference that night. And then there was a lot of camera in front of me, like everybody was flashing, and you had some people, mean looking, serious-minded business people, seated, looking, watching me. And I had this pressure to perform. So I did very beautifully that night. But the following day, throughout that night, I did not sleep because I was preparing for the following day. So the following day, I came on board. I was there. I was just so tense. Like I didn't have the time to relax and everything. So before I went into the stage to do my presentation, they had to do like a mini interview as well, another interview. So, and this lady was just asking me a question, like, and for the first time in my life, I froze. I was just there, like, and I didn't know what to say. Like, that's a very strange thing to me. Like, and she was telling me, "Oh, don't worry, this happens. You just calm down, take a moment to compose yourself." And that was infuriating to me. Like, it was pissing me off because this has never happened to me. I'm not that person who freezes up before a presentation. I'm not that guy. So I had to go back again. But that really disorganized me. And truth be told, I came third in that competition. I was supposed to win that competition, but I came third because I wasn't very composed. I went in there fidgeting, just making reckless mistakes and all that. So if you're nervous, they can tell that this person is nervous. But it's a different thing when you come in there with confidence and you're speaking with confidence and you're telling them what you need to tell them and you're there like, conveying your ideas and all that, even making them laugh in the process. Like they tell them that even if this person doesn't have like such a wonderful idea, I just want to see this person succeed, and just want to give you something for it. Okay. So I've seen some presentations that like, I didn't really just give somebody something for being that guy who just made everywhere lively. Even if you didn't win, they can give you something. Somebody can also begin to pick, organize a small unofficial group to even finance your project or something like that. So personality is very, very important. Personality is very, very important. It's not something you're trying to pull up. It's not a show, but it's just, we talked about the persona of an entrepreneur, so of a change maker earlier. This is something that you have to embody throughout your journey as an entrepreneur. So conclusively, I want to just encourage each and every one of us. When Chisom was making his introduction, he said something about using social media to your advantage. Okay, you have to, social media now has become like your resume where anybody can go and look you up and see what you've done over the years. It may not find very useless things on your timeline when you go to look up your profile on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or any of those platforms, right? Some people on Facebook allow people to just tag them, a bunch of peasants just tag them on useless and on irrelevant posts that just clogs your timeline. Nobody's able to see what you're doing, right? You don't even have a reasonable thing on your bio, and nobody knows you for anything, right? So it's very important if you're going to position yourself as a change agent, right? You have to build a certain profile so that people can go and look up what you've done so far, look up what you're currently doing, and look up what your future plans are. And then sometimes, like some of the opportunities that we apply for, they tell you to submit your Instagram handle or your Facebook handle or your LinkedIn profile. All of these things, and they're going to look at exactly what you're posting, what your presence is on social media. And it's very crucial. During my yearly interview, they asked me questions from how many years ago. These guys researched, they went down into my profile, they were asking me questions about, and it was very intriguing. Like, we've lived all these digital footprints online, and they're really going back to ask you these questions, and they're wanting to, get a pulse of exactly what you're doing and all that. So I feel like I've spent so much time, but I'm summarizing right now. And it's also very important that you get a mentor. Okay, get a mentor to help you just navigate some of these things. It's very important. And I say get a mentor so lightly. I say it so loosely, as if it's very easy. It's not very easy. Myself, personally, I have a history with mentors. One of my mentors has I've never been heartbroken by a girl before, but I've been heartbroken by a man who was my mentor. Okay, so I know how hard it was for me to recover from that and even begin to seek further mentors as well. But it's very crucial for you to have a mentor to really direct your path, to really help you, to coach you, to guide you, and all of that. It's very, very important. So if you have a business, growth, get revenue, scale, and funding will be easier to secure. Okay. If you have a non-profit, continue to make an impact and tell your story, and money will gravitate towards you. I think that's just what it is. Chisom has talked about positioning very, very much in his presentation earlier. And then I think that positioning plays a crucial part to be able to just put you out there as somebody who can contribute to something. So yeah, I think that's it. And I think this is the time for questions and conversation. So I'm done with my presentation. I think I'm open to take questions now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel. This is a course on its own. I don't know if anybody here can attest to that. This is a full-blown course. I think we need to develop this into series of videos, and then it becomes a course that maybe people will now pay hundreds of thousands to attend, all right? Thank you so much for that.
I don't know, your voice has become like very low. Can you speak up? I really lost you at some point.
Is it better now?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Oh, okay, so sorry. So I was saying thank you for this profound session. It's been an amazing one. And it could serve for a course, a full-blown course, if we cut them down into different aspects and then package it. All right. So we appreciate your time and the effort and everything you put in to make it this profound. All right. So I would want to hear from the people, from other participants. Please confirm if you can hear us, and then throw your questions, or if you have a contribution or you have anything that you will want him to reiterate. All right. So please, the floor is open.
Good evening, everyone. Mr. Emmanuel Eze, first of all, I want to appreciate you for a work well done. I think I would say that my ears are full. My ears are really full. In fact, sometimes I used to think I know a little about this investment grants stuff, but from the way you were breaking everything down, it just opened my eyes more that I still really need to take more time to learn about them. Even as you have spoken a lot, I think I will just say this, that my head is very full, and for now I don't even know if I have question. I think I need to digest everything. The thing is just rolling down small, small. I think I need to digest them if it's possible on the platform. Maybe you will not just go immediately. Just maybe give us some time. So when the food you gave us digest, we can know the angle we are having, we are lacking, and then we can ask questions from there. That's my own opinion. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Who just spoke now? That's who? That's Uchenna, right?
Yes, exactly, sir.
Yes.
Okay, Uchenna, you sound like you're female. I don't know. So forgive me if I'm wrong.
Okay. Sorry, no, I'm a guy.
You're a guy. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I just got that entirely wrong. All right. So why don't we have? I'm posting this question to Chisom right now. Why don't we have females on this call?
You said what?
Why don't we have women on this call?
Okay, we had one earlier. I don't know what happened. Maybe her network.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, that's that.
Maybe her network, but the people who indicated to join this are majorly males. And while you were speaking about opportunities for males, I've already instructed the graphic designers to do a graphics. We'll have to do a program for females only, right?
Yes, I think there's a need for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you mentioned something about on the platform. Okay, we'll be discuss about it later, and we'll see if you can be added to the WhatsApp platform, Mr. Emmanuel.
All right.
That's if
That's
you're
fine.
okay by that. All
Of
right. So
course
do we have any other person who has a question or any contribution or something you would want to say? All right. So, Mr. Emmanuel, I would want you to slowly list out the slides that you mentioned. I think you mentioned about 7 of them or more. So, but you are that fast that people cannot pick them. So is it possible that you slowly mention them so that we can capture them for the presentation, the pitching slide or something?
Okay, yeah. So sorry about that. I noticed that I was very fast, and I usually don't feel very comfortable talking too fast, but I had to because of my time. So yes, this what I'm about to tell you is also like is nuanced in the sense. Sometimes, like the organizers of certain competitions, they want you to add some slides that they prefer. They will tell you these are the things that we want on the presentation slide. So you have to always fine tune it to what they want. But as a general rule of thumb, I think your intro slide, which is where you have your company logo and your description, group description. Like let's say for instance, you have a company logo and you say creation energy, and then your tagline, something like that's your intro page. Then the next slide should be where you talk about your problem statement. Problem statement, you define exactly what problem you're trying to solve and all of that. Okay, we do it with very fantastic images. Pitch deck is a whole thing on its own. We can have a session about on that and then discuss extensively about it. But there's a way you need to present your presentation, do your presentation slides, like to have like a combination of images and text, and let's just be visually appealing. When people look at it, let it not just be too bulky. You don't have to put so much text to it. Let what you're saying be in your mind, in your head, as opposed to being on your slides, right? So there's a few texts and few images that will just convey the information I'm trying to do. So the second slide is a problem statement. The third slide is your solution. Solution could be, sometimes your solution is different from your product. All right. So sometimes your solution is different from your product, but I always advise that you compress that in one slide. So your solution could be that, okay, since we don't have power in the country, we are going to provide clean and accessible and affordable power to people. But that is not your product. Your product is an energy kit that you want to sell for 15,000 naira to people, right? That can just power their laptops, their phones, and all of that. So that runs on an unknown fuel that is just peculiar to you. So that's your product. Or your solution is just to provide clean and affordable power to people. Okay, so you compress that into one slide. So you have a solution slide, which comprises the product and the solution. And then you go on to talk about the market size. Market size, we talked about it earlier, where you are speaking to how big is your market based on research data. You always have to put like, according to World Bank, we have this amount of people who don't have access to power supply, or who are unbanked, or who don't have access to digital infrastructure. All all of that. You can find information online about like your markets, the market that you're playing at. They can tell you that like the healthcare industry is a $14 billion market. Okay, how did they get to that figure? So you can do some research about it and see how many people you're targeting. And then I mentioned that there is a difference between your total addressable market and your serviceable addressable market. So total addressable market is the number of persons, like let's say in Nigeria right now, we have about 22 million households that don't have access to power supply. Okay, so this might seem like a very unrealistic number, but that's what it really is. This is from a World Bank study. And then we're talking about, oh, I can't really serve this 22 million. Of course, it's not possible, it's unrealistic for me to serve this 22 million. But what is my serviceable addressable market? That means I'm in the currently right now. I need to find the number of persons that do not have access to power supply. And this is where I'm going to start from. Okay. And even in that place, in this environment that you're talking about, you're also finding people who can actually pay for your product, because it's not people who, it's not everybody who is, who don't have access to this power supply that can actually pay for your product. So the people who can pay for your product and need your services and need your products, these are your serviceable addressable markets, right? So you have to distill that in one presentation slide, and then you move on to your business model. So what is your business model? How do you make money? Do you make money through commissions? Do you make money through like a freemium model? You give some parts for free and you give some parts, like LinkedIn is a freemium product, you get some parts for free, and then you want to get the premium access to LinkedIn, you have to pay for it. Zoom, where we're having this call right now, is a freemium product. You get like the 40-minute free listing if you don't have a Zoom Pro subscription for over 40 minutes. So I think Chisom has a Zoom Pro subscription. That's why we are on this call for over 1 hour, right? And we are uninterrupted and stuff. So yeah, that's a business model. Sometimes talk about the direct sales. Sometimes talk about the subscription models as well. So all of these things are different kind of model. What fits your business? Like what exactly, how are you making money? All of that. You distill that in a business models line, okay? So we can talk about the business model canvas, but that is not something you put on the presentation slide, but it's something that's very good for you to know, right? So you talk about your traction, what you've been able to do, like, milestones from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, what you've been able to do since your inception, since the inception of the company, since you started developing your product, what have you been able to achieve? Have you built a landing page? Do you have people who have registered and declared interest? Do you have an interest form that people have actually filled and they are ready to patronize something? Have you built a prototype? Something that is working, but you just need to scale it or something. So all of this, like, proof of concept, all of this can be, have you raised money? It's also part of traction. How much have you raised? If you've raised like $1 million to support your business, that means somebody has validated the idea enough to give you money to go ahead and build your solution. So it's important, you can put it there, right? You can also talk about your competition as well. Your competition is like, okay, if you're in the power sector, who's your competition? If I'm dealing with a solar business, that means Astrum Energy is my competition. They're also in the solar business as well, like green solutions and all of that. Let's say Green Age Technologies is my competition as well. They're doing like, into solar business and all that, clean energy business and all that. So if you are a bank, like if you're a Sterling bank, that First Bank is a competition, and then you can also narrow that competition into the niche where you are right now, what you're doing basically specifically, right? So if you talk about the online payment gateways, you have Money Points they have Monify as a payment gateway. You have Paystack as a payment gateway. You also have Flutter as a payment gateway. So all of these people are competing for some piece of the entire pie in the money value chain. Okay, so these are the competitions, and you have to tell them exactly why you are better than these people. So if you're a Paystack, you have to detail exactly why you're better than Money Points, why you're better than Flutter. So you tell them this: we are better because of this, because of this technology, we are better because of this customer service expression that we have in our core business model. We have, all of that can serve. So you can tell them that that's what we call the unique value proposition, right? Ways that like differentiate you from your competition. Okay. So after that, you can go to your financials. So if you already are in business, you can give your financials for the first year, and then your projection for the second year and all of that, right? But if you're not in business, if you're pre-revenue, you can actually detail exactly what your projection looks like. So if you have a product that sells for 15,000 naira, you can say that based on these metrics, I can sell to about 1,000 persons in the first year, right? And this is how I'm going to do it. So you can put all of this information, put the financials there, right? And then balance it out and just put it out there, right? You can do it for 3 years and then say, this is what my projection is. And then they can ask you questions on that and all that. So that is it. And then you can talk about your team, right? The team is very important, a very crucial slide, right? Some persons will even advise you to talk about your team in the second slide, right? After your intro page, you can talk about your team because it captures the hearts of people. If you don't have a very interesting team members, like I don't think you should talk about it. Like one of my products now, which is care right service, right? I'm always very happy to talk about like the team because it's a diverse group of persons. So I'll tell you that like myself, a product designer and a techpreneur, and a software developer who has this amount of years of experience in startup development and all of that, is partnering with like a sickle cell advocate who's also a sickle cell carrier herself and has an initiative in the sickle cell organization and foundation. And we are partnering with also like a doctor who is a full-time medical doctor with the Obafemi Awolowo University Children's Hospital Complex, currently working as a chief medical director. So this is a very interesting dynamic team that can come together to build a very interesting solution called Care Right Services. So if you have such an interesting thing, I think we should also talk about it like, but it depends where you put it, like either in the second slide of the presentation or the last slide or second to the last slide of the presentation, right? So you can decide whichever works for you. But for me, I always go to the second to the last part of my presentation. So that's what I talk about like lastly. This is the team that is working behind this. This is the years of experience that we have. These are core expertise, and this is what we're trying to do, and that is it. When we talk about that, we can just use a tagline to say thank you. Drop something very punchy that will just capture their hearts or stay in their minds for a while, and then you say thank you. So this is exactly what your presentation deck, your pitch deck should look like. But like I said earlier, it's also nuanced in the sense that some organizers may ask you to include certain things that, some of them will ask you to put a go-to-market strategy. So I know that I pitched in a competition that they asked me to put like a go-to-market strategy, something that will illustrate how I'm going to roll out my product to the market, and all of that. So some of them will ask you like use of funds. What are you going to use this grant for? Give it to you. Like, we can also put it there as well. So it depends, right? So, but as a rule of thumb, what I've just given you is just what would be crucial, like to your presentation slide. So that's it.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. That's amazing. I think I took all of them down. I hope all the other people who are here with me are also taking note. And I would, at this point, call off the meeting so that we can go and digest what we've discussed. All right. So finally, for the last time, I want to say thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel Eze, for the work you put into being here and delivering a lot of value. We do not take it for granted. We appreciate every single part of it. Thank you so much. All right. And we might have you, I will discuss with you privately, and then we'll have you join the group because we would also expect that some of the participants will get guidance as time goes on. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. All right, everybody, thank you for being here. I appreciate your presence. And of course, when I started, I said something about action, action, action. You need to keep acting, all right? Do not be only the hearers, but also the doers, all right? So you need to keep acting. You need to keep acting, all right? So we have a lot of things coming up for the Bold Money College. We have a lot of things coming up, and permit me to introduce to you the Bold Money Business. This book is going to be per part, all right? And currently we are on pre-order for just 3,000 naira. you can take the opportunity to pre-order for it. But once it's out, it's going to be much more than that, right? And then the money conversation is coming up next week. Money conversation is a monthly conversation program where we talk about money and things that were not discussed and things that are rarely discussed about money, all right? And it will be live on our Facebook page and on our YouTube. We are also working on a lot of other things. Just like I mentioned yesterday, everybody who is on this call is also already on the Bold Money Entrepreneurs Network. And the Bold Money Entrepreneur Network is for younger entrepreneurs, young people who are doing amazingly fine, or who are not even doing amazingly fine, people who are just starting out. They are just coming together to form the synergy to build something that will be lasting. All right. So please, you are already there. It's an opportunity. And very soon we're going to have inflows of entrepreneurs from across Africa join us, right? And every month we have materials we read, right? This month we are dealing with the Smart Money Woman, and we also fortunate to be watching the movie version of that, right? So I want you to take your time, digest them, and then on the last day of this month, we'll come together on a virtual call like this also, and then we'll share among ourselves what lessons we got from those books, right? As we begin to grow, we begin to increase the number of material we consume every month, all right? These are the lineup of activities. And in 3 months' time, we also have another virtual program, all right? So we're working on a lot of things. We're working on a lot of things, but you are going to be seeing all of them on our platforms, all right? So thank you so much for being here, and it's been awesome having you all on this platform, all right? So I would want to ask for any feedback. Do we have any feedback, responses, before we now officially close for tonight? All right, it's been an amazing time, and I believe we are blessed. We got a lot of value, and please we'll go back and begin to ask. One of the assignment that was given yesterday was for us to discover at least one opportunity that we will go for. All right, so please ensure, if you've not done that, ensure you do it. And we're going to share the slides for yesterday and today, and you're going to have access to the replay, to the audio and videos of all that we have done so far, so that you'll be able to replay them as many times as possible, internalize them, and begin to take action, all right? Thank you so much. It's been an awesome time. Signing out. Good night, and have a lovely night and a lovely week. Today is the beginning of the week, so have a lovely week. Thank you so much.